examples on how you can use this. And Stephen will try to do the annotations while I do that. So we'll see how that works. So please, yeah, Stephen, if you could, I flew out of Arlanda, I'm Swedish as well. So I would prefer us to be in Arlanda, which is over there. And then we can sort of go through a few plates on our trip over to Helsinki. So Stephen, could you pull up the taxi plate? There's something called a departure routing taxi plate for Stockholm Arlanda. Here we go. So before we do the annotation, I just want to explain, if maybe some of you have tried this, but in Stockholm Arlanda, you actually have something called standard taxi routes. And a standard taxi route means that when air traffic control calls you up, when you get a taxi clearance from air traffic control, they will actually not give you any taxiways in the clearance. So what they would do is they would say something like Scandinavian 081 cleared to holding point runway 26. And note there's no taxiways in the clearance, right? But if you take a look on the plate, there's actually small arrows, and you're supposed to follow these. And we used annotations for this. So Stephen, let's pretend we're at gate 42, which is at the bottom. And we have been given that clearance that I just gave you. So we are supposed to follow the standard taxi route. That would mean going up from 42, so you could draw that, up through Zulu Golf. Hopefully this works, Stephen. There you go. And all the way up through Yankee, turn right on X-ray, and we end up on X-ray 2. And the way we did this in real life is we actually drew this before we even got the clearance. So we did a little briefing. We said we can probably expect runway 26, because you can get that on the 80s. And then we drew this, we got the clearance, and it usually was the same thing. And as far as I'm aware, VATSIM does the same thing in Arlanda, so it's the same rules. You can probably go talk to them about that later, but I believe that is so. Sometimes you will be given another clearance. So this was the 95% of the time case, but sometimes you got another clearance, and we can do that through annotations because we have different colors. So Stephen can pick another color. Be ready with the other color. We call for the clearance, and the clearance comes through, and it says maybe cleared to holding point runway 26 via Zulu November. So that will go all the way up there, turn left on Zulu November, and then X-ray 2 as well. So annotations here help you with both preparing but also reacting to clearances in this case. So that's one use we have. All right. Should we do another one? Maybe the approach plate for Helsinki? Because you can definitely use this for approach plates as well. So let's pretend we're supposed to do this ILS to left at Helsinki. And one thing that I made mistakes with this in real life sometimes. So if you take a look on the notes in the header here, so Stephen, maybe, yeah, exactly that one. The number 2 says minimum 150 knots until distance 4 from touchdown zone. And some of you probably have tried this. Some aircraft, they struggle a little bit in maintaining, at least getting down to final approach speed in this short of distance. And it's also easy to forget to actually maintain 150 to 4. So this is something I would highlight. And we can use squares, not squares, rectangles in this case, and we can also use circles in annotations in Navigraph charts. So that could be one thing. So when you're on the approach later, you would actually be reminded because you would see the big square or the big rectangle, and that would remind you that, yeah, right, I'm supposed to maintain 150 to distance 4. That's another use case here. And you can do whatever you want with this. This is just some things I did. The possibilities are, of course, endless, and you will probably figure out a way to do it yourself. I just want to show you, this was charts, but then we have our flight plans as well, our operational flight plans. And you can draw annotations on those as well. So here's a flight plan for the same flight that we generated before this talk. And yeah, exactly, we talked about this. We could probably show this. So when you're getting the clearance from air traffic control, you probably have a pen, a pencil, and paper, and you're ready to copy. If you're flying VATSIM, this is probably something you've tried as well. What you could do with annotations is you could go to this page on the operational flight plan, and you have your routing, your expected route. So that's the filed flight plan to VATSIM or in real life to air traffic control. And what would happen most probably is air traffic control will come back and they will say, yeah, you're clear to destination via Tovri 5 Golf, the SID, and flight plan route. And what I usually did, I drew an arrow, just like Steven is doing right now. And that to me indicated that, okay, I was cleared Tovri 5 Golf, and I was cleared the flight plan route. And now I have actually written down my entire clearance, right? Without writing a single word. So that could help. If you got something else, oh, I didn't even see what I was, but obviously we're back up and running again. So if you receive something else, you could write that down in the departure ATC clearance box that's just below. And one common thing you could get was radar vector. So clear Tovri 5 Golf and thereafter expect radar vectors. And you could put an RV or something there. Steven, you could probably try that. If you can, I don't know what the arrow was. Okay, good. So something like that. And you can, of course, find your own way of doing this. Some people have their own symbols for different clearances. Final thing we can show, we can probably go down to the weather charts. So if you want to annotate something on the weather charts as well, you can of course do that. And on this chart we have icing, and medium turbulence. So you could probably draw a circle around that. Yeah, that's a square, that works too, but we have circles. So you can choose whatever you want. All right, so that's some ways you can actually use annotations when you're flight simming. And it's very realistic. I'm very excited about this feature. I fly a lot now. Of course, I fly the ATR because I used to fly the ATR, so I'm quite interested in that. But I've missed this feature in Navigraph charts. So I'm excited because we're announcing it, but I'm also excited because I'm going to go